Okay, I am about to delete the remaining old videos on this channel. For context on this, if you watch that first one, I'm Back, that I published a couple of hours ago, I explain the history of all this a little bit, why there are 14,000 subscribers for a handful of views. This was an old channel I started 15 years back. I stopped it, deleted all the original videos, tried to restart it 6 years ago, didn't get very far. And now I'm back again. Who knows what happened? Anyway, I'm going to get rid of these. But before I do that, I thought it would be fun to have a little look at these and see how accurate I was with what I was talking about, and whether you can trust this content I produced. So, a couple of videos here, both on React.
Okay, so to demonstrate this, I've got a
Oh, look at that. I had hair and less grey. So this video, class versus function component lifecycle methods. At the time, React was kind of moving everyone from class components to function components. So this was talking about the life cycle of how those components work, how you do things on mount, side effects, etc. I thought I had a pretty good understanding of it then. This one was actually cooler. So this was about syncing animations. What's funny, like thinking about these old videos, is like there was no AI back then. There's no AI. This is pre-ChatGPT. I mean, obviously there was AI, but nothing commercial, nothing anyone was using. You know, even engineers, like most rank and file software engineers, were not using AI back then 6 years ago. So we were doing it all by hand. This kind of stuff you'd get AI to spit out now. We'd check it, make sure it's performant, it's going to work. But yeah, it's funny thinking about how much time and energy I've put in over my career to figuring out stuff like this, learning it. I still think there's value in understanding what's going on, even with AI doing a lot for us. But there we go. So how am I going to do this? I have got a little tool I've developed called Too Long Didn't View. And basically what this does is let you chat with videos on YouTube, because I find, I don't know if you're the same, there's a lot I'm learning now, a lot of new things, AI technologies, every day there's something new. It's hard to keep up. What you get with YouTube is hundreds of people covering the same information. I'm obviously part of that problem. And so it can be hard to kind of get the overall picture. Some people have different nuggets of gold information, others don't. So you can end up going through like 3-4 hours of video if you were so motivated to walk away with really not very much. And for me, a lot of the time, I just want short little bits of information. I either want a specific answer to a problem, or I want an overall kind of grounding in something. This is not quite the same as going to ChatGPT or Claude and going, hey, explain X topic to me. Like, YouTube videos tend to be more current with information. So what's going on in AI technologies and things, hacks, tricks people figure out, tend to be on YouTube first before they end up kind of being wider knowledge. So for me, I'm fed up with wading through these 40-minute videos, and people are pimping their merch and asking you to subscribe and the rest of it. So I'm like, okay, let's put AI to work on this. So Too Long Didn't View. I can get a video, paste it in it, or turn it into chat. So this is my video from 6 years ago, React class versus function component lifecycle methods. Hit that, it's going to suck it in. So it's got to do a little bit of analysis to pull the transcript, and then it basically turns it into a chatbot. So there's a few canned options here. I can go summarize. What are some questions I could ask? What are themes or topics? So I'll start off with summarize just to show you kind of how it works. While that's ticking away, a couple of options. Normal freestyle. So the chat mode normally is only going to answer based on the video. Freestyle will just turn it into normal AI chat. So it's OpenAI on the back. For technical reasons I won't get into, I can only really get this to work with OpenAI. Here comes a summary. Context is how much of the video do you want to chuck at AI. The reason this is important is because you can chat with more than one video at the same time. So I could actually run this on an overall channel. And so if you're dealing with like I've tested it on Diary of a CEO, which I think is 400 hours of context, and I could chuck like most of it, but then it's going to take a little bit longer to generate. So that's what this context window does. And then there's the different OpenAI models. Obviously, there's the cheaper ones like Mini versus the newer ones that cost a bit more. Right, so what do we got? This video compares class component lifecycle methods to without emulating the same behavior and function components using hooks and memo. So it's given me a breakdown of the video I made. What you can also see is it dots these timestamps in and amongst the video. So it's showing when I'm referring to a specific bit of information. So if I click that one, it will come up, should jump to 513. There it is.
Increment shared is going to call set share counter, share counter +1. That should probably use previous state.
And there I'm going on about whatever I'm going on about. So this is what it does. It enables me to like get through a 17-minute video very quickly. I can look at that and go, yeah, does this sound interesting? And then I can just drill straight into bits that I'm like, okay, I want to hear from the video and understand more about what they're talking about. Now, here's the fun part. Based on the information provided, how accurate is the actually, let's word it a different way. How accurate is the information presented? Does the presenter have a good understanding of the subject material? So essentially what I'm doing is I'm going, hi AI from 2000, 6 years ago. Yeah, it would be 2000. Although I'm sure I did this pre-COVID. Maybe I didn't. It would have been coming up to COVID. It says 6 years ago. I should get the date on the video. But I'm pretty sure this was pre-COVID because it's Feb 2026 now. I think I did this pre-COVID. Anyway, let's run this off and see how AI in 2026 rates my knowledge from 6 years ago and whether I was making stuff up or actually had a tenuous grasp of facts. Information presented in the video is accurate when the excerpts provided and the presenter demonstrates a solid understanding of React lifestyle context. Go me. And how to implement them. Accurately represents lifestyle equivalence. There you go. So according to AI, I was an expert on React lifecycle methods. I can just about remember them now. Certainly function components. Don't ask me about class components. I can't remember class components too much. Although, if you tested me, I could probably do it under strain. Let's do the other one for giggles. So this one was kind of more... What I'm talking about with this one is like the problem of combining two animations. So like if you wanted to fade something in and then have something kind of throb or move and then fade it out, like you get this janky effect with CSS animations, and you can get around it with CSS keyframes because they will actually like rewind or transition to a new animation without giving you kind of a stagger. I don't know whether this is still a problem. So I haven't tested this in 6 years. Browsers may well have dealt with this problem. But I've already imported the video, sync CSS animations with JavaScript. I'm going to get exactly the same question and I'll skip over this video. So everything I import in this program, too long to view, you got it in your import library. You can filter, you can tag videos. The reason the tagging's cool is because then I can tag by channel, or I can pick different videos, combine them all together and have a chat with multiple videos at the same time. Let's go over here. So I already did a summary, blah, 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 blah. Let's test my knowledge. Let's make it a bit more severe as well. How accurate is the information? Does the presenter have a good understanding of the subject material? Is he lying anywhere? Lying or misrepresenting facts anywhere? Really beat me up. So while that's ticking away, as I say, I'm going to delete these videos. I don't really want them on the channel. Like, they're going to conflict with new videos I put out and branding. So I'm going to wipe them out. If someone really wants me to kind of recreate these and talk about these, I can. I think I've still got the code. But in the meantime, this product, it's kind of ready to go. I've got a couple of little issues around licensing, but the software works. It's here. So Too Long Didn't View. You can come here. You can join the waitlist. There's that Diary of a CEO content. I completely lied when I said 400 hours, 68 hours, but I may not have imported all his videos for this test. And you can see like it does, you can chat on multiple videos at the same time. So you can see here it's pulling out different videos from the podcast. You can do this on any YouTube videos that supports transcripts. Work over multiple videos. You've got the timestamps. If you sign in, it will pull in your subscriptions playlist, your channel, so you can ingest all that real quick. The tags make it really easy. Bring your own API key. So this is not going to be a subscription product. You get your own OpenAI API key. You can put it in and then you just pay as you go. I can tell you from using it, I don't think I've spent more than about $1 using this daily and developing it. Like the costs are nothing. So yeah, Too Long Didn't View, waitlist at the moment. So pop your name and email in if you're interested, and I'll let you know on this channel when it's out. Let's see what it came back with. Oh, summary judgment. Based on the provided transcript excerpts, the presenter explains the problem, demonstrates a practical solution, openly notes uncertainties and a small bug in his own code. There is no evidence in the provided transcripts that he is lying or intentionally misrepresenting facts. He clearly states the problem with evidence of caution and honesty. He explicitly calls out a bug he noticed in the demo. Transition which show he frames some claims as tentative. For example, the keyframe animations don't rewind the way transitions do, and invites viewers to correct him if I'm wrong. See, it's good to know I'm consistent. Any misrepresentations or unsupported claims in the transcript. No explicit signs of deliberate misrepresentation. Some statements presented as observations from his demo. Won't rewind as far as I can tell, rather than absolute facts. And he invites feedback, which suggests he is not overstating uncertainty. Now, as good as that makes me sound from 6 years ago, because this is his normal mode, it's only answering based on what's in the video. I don't know how much they are mixing in kind of real world facts. So this is where I put it in freestyle mode. Now, what this will do is it's already got the context from the video. So I've loaded the chat context with, it's read enough about the video to know what it's about. Like if I started with freestyle, it wouldn't work. So you've got to kind of give it a bit of, bit of prodding to go, hey, tell me about this video. But now it's in freestyle mode. I should be able to get it to think more widely beyond this video with information the AI knows about. Review this again based on your knowledge of CSS animations. Is there anything the presenter is missing? This should also make it faster as well. I could jack up the model as well, but GPT-5 mini is fine. So now it's going to go wider. This is going to be just like doing a default ChatGPT question. But as I say, it will have the context of the video now. It knows the previous questions I've asked, so it knows I'm kind of interrogating this for facts. Whoa, look at this. So here you go. Yeah, this is what I expected. And this will be learning for me as well, because there'll be stuff in here I didn't know about. Oh, look at that. It's even spitting out code. I've never seen this do this in this app. Obviously it can because it's ChatGPT. But yeah, this is interesting. Covers the core problem of a solid pragmatic solution. However, a few practical cross-browser accessibility and robustness details were not addressed. Implementing those will make the approach more reliable and production ready. Prefers reduced motion. Yep, that's, I don't know if that was out 6 years ago. But that's obviously an accessibility setting that some users don't want animations and stuff. I know about that now. Event subtleties and fallbacks. Transition in animation and may not fire in all edge cases. Element removed from DOM, display none, background tab throttling. Yep. Always provide a small fallback. Multiple properties and aggregations. Transition end fires once per transition property. If you transition several properties or use all. Interesting. Interesting. I don't know if I covered that at the time. It doesn't sound like I did. Vendor compatibility. Yep. So that's standard stuff. Property naming. Yeah. Non-animatable properties. Yeah. Performance hits. Prefer transform and opacity for smoother animations. Yep. That wasn't really scope of the video. Web animations API. Finer control, programmatic control. Prefer the web animations API. Yeah. So I don't know if this was out at the time or if it was. It certainly wasn't widespread. I've actually not used Web Animations API. Something I'll probably add to the list to look at. If not, get Claude to write it for me. Animation cancel events. I knew about those. Thought I covered those. Reading actual CSS timing. Oh, instead of duplicating timing values in JS, you can read get computing style. Yeah, okay, that's a good bit of feedback. If I was getting this feedback in a PR, that's actually not a bad one. So rather than duplicating, because the code, I remember, it has to have like the timings of the animation both in CSS and in JavaScript, what I was thinking. So I'm doubling up the timing values. So this is just saying I could avoid doing it. Now, having said that, there would be an overhead to calling that, but it could be cached start of the page load, because obviously CSS is not going to change unless you're doing something funky with it. Accessibility and focus. Practical recommendations checklist. Yeah, so that's basically what it said above. Small code hints. Compute durations from CSS. So that's just the code for what it's talking about above. One recommendation that changes the trade-offs. Prefer web animations API. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So interesting what I didn't know 6 years ago and what AI can expose none of us know these days. This is what I find with AI, and it's part of the reason I love it, because you can have an idea and go to AI and go, hey, I want to do this, how would I do it? And it'll tell you how to do it. But I'm normally doing two things. I'm normally going, hey, I've got an idea, how would I do it? And also, what else can you think of? Is one of the most powerful things you can do with AI is just to go, hey, how could I expand this? How could I make it better? How could I make it more useful to customers, users? And the more you kind of feed those conversations and go, hey, I was thinking about this, what if I take it in this direction? The more it will give you. So in this case, for learning, there's a lot of different aspects here that I don't know how I would have approached learning at the time, but to be able to get across all these different things and kind of have those in mind and in memory was very, very difficult back then. We had to do a lot of reading, still do. But yeah, AI is just making all of this much more useful. Anyway, I'm rabbiting on. As I say, Too Long Didn't View. This is available, will be available shortly. If you're interested, pop over here, toolongdidn'tview.com. You can sign up. And meanwhile, I'm going to go and delete these old videos. Thanks.